There's a lot of rain out there now, especially across Duval and Clay County. Northern St. John's getting in on some of this as well. So let's zoom down in, get some streets on here. We've got Craig Airport. There's Atlantic Boulevard, Gervin Road, up toward the Wonderwood connector. These rainfall rates between 1 and 2 inches of rain per hour. And the same story down by Nocatee. Here we are in southern Duval and extreme northern St. John's. There's Nocatee Parkway, Valley Ridge Boulevard, the county line there between Duval and St. John's. Other showers building in northwestern Clay that are slowly moving to the north, but these storms aren't moving that far. That's why the flooding threat is a concern. I'm tracking the rain hour by hour coming up in the first alert forecast.
See you then, Corey. Action News Jax is working to find out why JSO decided not to alert the community about a reported rape last week. It happened July 23rd. Action News Jax learned about that attack yesterday when an employee at the federal courthouse asked us why workers had to hear it from their bosses and not police. Action News Jax Lorena Inclan is live right now downtown. Lorena, crime reports say that the attacker had a gun.
He had a gun, Dawn, and he is still on the loose, which means that he could attack again. That's a possibility. The interesting thing about this case is that employees at the federal courthouse, which is less than a mile away from here, were alerted to this, but nobody else was. Now, we're trying to figure out how they found out about this case. Now, here's what you need to know. The crime happened the morning of July 23rd. JSO says the victim was dropped off by a cab around 1:30 in the morning near the Rosa Parks bus station. From there, the victim crossed the street and walked near the First Baptist Church building. According to police, the victim told them a man on a mountain bike came up from behind and attacked. Security staff at the federal courthouse, which is less than a half a mile away from here, confirmed that an alert was sent out to employees, letting them know a description of the suspect as well, and also just to be on the lookout as they head to work. Now, last night, my colleague Russell Colburn asked JSO why it felt that the public didn't need to know about this right after it happened, or what kind of protocol they go through to determine if the public needs to know. We asked them yesterday, and we asked them again today, and we just heard back from one of the spokespeople letting us know that she's trying to track down that information for us. We'll have that part of the story for you at 5. Reporting live in downtown, Lorena Inclan, CBS47 Action News Jax.
A man accused of shooting into a group of people in Fernandina Beach and killing one of them is now facing murder charges. New at noon, we now have the mugshot for Zachary Jamison. Fernandina Beach police say he shot and killed Jovan Riccio last night. That shooting happened on South 9th Street. The woman who called 911 after the shooting told police she knows Jamison and saw him fire the gun. New at noon, the Clay County Sheriff's Office says they found LSD while executing a search warrant on a home in Argyle. These are pictures the Sheriff's Office took after and during their raid on the home on Double Branch Lane. We're working to find out if anyone was arrested.
A Jacksonville Beach business owner faces a big cleanup project, and it's because of what you see here behind me. There was a fire last night at that business, and this is the aftermath from a fire overnight at Beach Buggies on 3rd Street North. So you just saw the before, this is the during. First responders were able to get it under control very quickly. The fire marshal tells Action News Jax that they believe that this may have been an electrical fire that could have started while those buggies were charging, Phil.
As local counties head back to school over the next few weeks, students are not the only ones getting prepared. New at noon, Action News Jax Elizabeth Pace rode along with a bus driver this morning to see what's new this year.
Good morning. Welcome back to school. Come on in.
Hugh McGuire will pick up students in Villano Beach for the 3rd year in a row.
My amber lights are on. I'm stopping here, activating my student red lights.
But this year, his schedule has changed.
Anything we can do to make it safer again for the students, getting them to school is integral in their education.
In March, we told you the St. Johns County School Board voted to change school start times. That means the schedule also changed for 225 district bus drivers. About a week before the first day, each one of them were out early this morning rehearsing their routes.
So we still want to double check and make sure that the times are correct, that we're making our pickups when we can and getting to the school on time.
We've been on this bus for about 3 hours now, and during that time, we've seen some drivers out there not really follow the law when it comes to stopping with a school bus. The district has nearly 200 buses. The director of transportation told me they just bought 20 new ones. Altogether, drivers make more than 5,000 stops a day. Because of the growth in the county, they're working to hire at least 20 more drivers. For anyone that's interested, McGuire says it's a rewarding job.
The relationships you have with the children and getting to know the children, knowing that you are providing a service for our community that is needed to get our students to school.
Reporting in St. Johns County, Elizabeth Pace, CBS 47, Action News Jax.
Mr. McGuire says he has a couple new bus stops this year. The district told us they cut others. Parents can head to actionnewsjax.com to find their child's bus stop. Well, Florida's back-to-school sales tax holiday is now underway. It continues through Tuesday. Those tax breaks apply to most school supplies, clothing, and some computer equipment. We posted a full list for you on actionnewsjax.com. Also on the site, you'll find our back-to-school investigations, lunch menus, dress codes, school supply lists, and helpful links.
Right now, about 3 dozen people from the Jacksonville Chamber, they took a trip to Buffalo, New York to get inspiration on downtown developments. So these are pictures from their trip. It's one of the annual visits that the Chamber makes to different cities, and they talk about residential development and building up the waterfront. Action News Jax wanted to compare the cities of Buffalo and Jacksonville to see what kind of insight city leaders might get from this trip. And as you can see here, the population is much smaller there in Buffalo. They have about 250,000 people. Jacksonville, 900,000. But metropolitan Buffalo has 1.1 million people. A Wall Street Journal report says that revitalization efforts in Buffalo, including turning riverfront land into a park and then nature trail linking 3 neighborhoods, has been a great idea for them. And that's similar to Jacksonville's plans for what we're calling the Emerald Necklace Trail.
A Florida woman has pleaded guilty to throwing a drink at a Florida congressman. We showed you video of the incident in Pensacola in June. Congressman Matt Gaetz got hit with a sports drink outside a town hall meeting. 35-year-old Amanda Contraya pleaded guilty to assault. She faces up to a year in prison now. She'll be sentenced in October.
The people of Jacksonville should see results in the next 2 months. That's what one leader of the Cure Violence program tells Action News Jax. This program sends peacekeepers, as they call them, out into the community to try and make a difference by targeting violence the way public health workers target disease. Cure Violence received $750,000 tax-paying dollars to get that work done last month.
The challenge right now is just getting time to go out and work the model, to do the work, to get out in the community, to change some of the norms.
The city said last week Cure Violence has spent $177,000 of its $764,000 taxpayer-funded budget on staff, operations, and community resources. The state of Florida has declared a public health emergency over hepatitis A. So there have been more than 2,000 cases this year compared to 548 in all of last year and just 276 the year before.
We have some breaking news. The 4th teen who escaped from a local juvenile detention center has been caught just in the last 10 minutes. The Highlands County Sheriff's Office said they found 16-year-old Taja Bing yesterday after receiving a tip. Last month, Action News Jax first reported he and 3 other teens allegedly staged a fight and escaped from the detention center off MLK there. The other 3 suspects have already been caught. Wall Street taking a hit for the 3rd day in a row today on trade war fears and uncertainty about the Fed's next move with interest rates. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down 221 points right now, with the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ also down about 1%. Over the past 3 days, the Dow has dropped 800 points, or about 3%. New this afternoon, the Labor Department just released the unemployment report for July. 164,000 jobs were created last month. Analysts were expecting 165,000 jobs. Still, that labor force sets a record here in America for the most amount of people employed. The unemployment rate remains steady at 3.7%. Average wages rose 0.3% in July.
Baltimore police are investigating a reported break-in at the home of Democratic Congressman Elijah Cummings. It happened early last Saturday, hours before President Trump started attacking Cummings and his hometown of Baltimore. This morning, the president tweeted this: "Really bad news. The Baltimore house of Elijah Cummings was robbed. Too bad."
Today, lawmakers in Puerto Rico are grilling the man who might become the island's next governor. Pedro Pierluisi has been appointed Secretary of State and would become governor when Ricardo Rossello resigns. That's supposed to happen at 5 o'clock. Berlusse's nomination has to be approved by both Puerto Rico's House of Representatives and Senate.
From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sima. Tropical moisture aplenty over our area now. One tropical disturbance we have here. There's another I'm monitoring in the Atlantic. That First Alert forecast coming up in less than 10 minutes.
Most know no liquids, no blades, and no missile launchers allowed on our planes. Why 2 of these military weapons have shown up at the same airport this week.
But first, wounded warriors serving again. How they're helping local kids get ready to go back to school.
What to watch, brought to you by Ashley Home Store.
Welcome back, everyone. More than 100 local kids in our area are heading back to school with a backpack filled with school supplies. And that's all thanks to the Wounded Warrior Project. Action News Jax Alicia Tarancon joins us live at the Jacksonville Zoo and Gardens right now. And Alicia, in the last 15 minutes, you've seen those military families show up.
Yes, a lot of those military families, they've been trickling in, and right now they're grabbing some lunch over here. You can see they have plates filled with hamburgers. Some of them are grabbing hot dogs. There's macaroni and cheese. So they're going to go over here to these tables and eat their lunch, and then right after, a lot of those kids are going to come over here and they're going to grab one of these backpacks just in time for the school year. Now take a look at this new video of the volunteers packing those backpacks. They filled about 400 backpacks with school supplies. They'll be giving out locally and also across the state from Orlando, Pensacola, Miami, and Tampa. Now, Wounded Warrior Project says they wanted to get involved because school supplies can be pretty expensive.
A lot of our military families have multiple children, so any opportunity we have to be able to kind of help them supplement that cost, it's really beneficial for them as they go back to school.
And of course, inside a lot of these backpacks, you know, they're going to find things like crayons, pencils, some folders. But I want to show you this. There's also a special note that each one of these kids gets. If you take a look at this one, you could see no one ever made a difference by being like anyone else. So they're going to take home a special note in each of these backpacks. And coming up, you're going to hear from one of the Wounded Warrior families on why taking home these school supplies is so important to them. Reporting live at the Jacksonville Zoo and Gardens, Alicia Tarancon, CBS47 Action News Jax.
Great job getting good lunch too this noon. JSO will hold a safety fair tomorrow at the Avenues Mall. That event will run from 10 to 2 Saturday. Besides safety and crime prevention information, you'll also be able to get electronic fingerprints for kids, see police vehicles, and turn in unwanted or expired medication.
For the second time in a week, TSA agents found a missile launcher, of all things, in checked baggage at the airport in Baltimore. And here's a look at it. Officials say that an Air Force sergeant brought that launcher back as a souvenir after serving abroad. Now, there wasn't anything explosive in the launcher, but still, they're not allowed on commercial flights.
There's a slim chance that the tube could have pressurized gas that would not be stable in the air. It's very slim, but there's really no way to tell if it has that. So out of abundance of caution, commercial flights just don't allow that in checked luggage.
Missile launchers are allowed on military flights, which is how, by the way, both launchers made it to the Baltimore airport this week.
Well, local soccer standout found some time to bring a smile to her favorite fan.
Hello! Hi, buddy!
That's Carson Pickett of Fleming Island and her fan Joseph meeting Thursday in Orlando. She's a former soccer player from St. Johns County Day and FSU who now plays with the Orlando Pride. Both were born without a left hand, as you see there, and they met for the first time at a soccer game. And this picture went viral.
Now certified Jacksonville's most accurate weather forecast. Action News Jax First Alert Weather.
Rain really picking up across northeast Florida here on First Alert Doppler HD. Maybe it is already pouring on you for your lunch hour. If it's not, chances are it's going to start in short order. We've got rain extending from Little Talbot Island just west of Mayport. This stretches all the way back to the south side. And where we are here at Action News Jax at Beach near the East Beltway of 295. These rain rates are pretty high too, near 1 inch, and in some cases a little higher than that from McCormick stretching down toward Monument Road as well. There's the East Beltway of 295 near Craig Airport. We have some more showers here in West Duval, Eastern Baker, and Northwest Clay County. These are moving slowly to the north. Some of them are just kind of losing their head of steam and not making it any farther than that. And we do have a little bit of lightning with that cell there southwest of Baldwin. Headed for Marietta within the next 5 minutes. White House there at 12:25 and Baldwin at 12:31. Also, we have more heavy rain. This is southeast Clay, western St. John's, headed for World Golf Village any minute now. The Slammer and the Squire there at 12:22. Adventure Landing 12:25, and the St. Augustine Outlets there at State Road 16 and I-95 just before 12:30. Here's our Jacksonville Beach First Alert Skycam network. I just put this time lapse together about 5 minutes ago. Watch the really dark cloud here. This is basically over Mayport, and then look at this shelf cloud that just emanates from that. A really cool view here of one of the little batches of heavy rain, where at the beaches now we're in the mid to upper 70s and onshore wind, and it is brisk. Here at the station, we have received over an inch of rain just within about the last 2 to 3 hours. There's Mayport, almost 2 inches of rain reported today. The overall trend for the rain is going to be it will shift inland with time. As we get into late afternoon and early evening, most of the rain is going to be near the I-75 corridor, and then overnight we can't rule out an isolated coastal shower, as this tropical disturbance, which is not expected to develop into anything, but it is going to stay put but then eventually move away over about the next 24 hours. Also monitoring this wave in the central Atlantic. It may get a name by the beginning of next week, but tropical conditions not favorable as we move northwest from there for further strengthening. Your weekend, that's always in view here in the First Alert 7-day forecast. Saturday, it's looking wet, a lot like today, but then the temperatures go up and that rain threat generally moves to the afternoon, Sunday and next week. You can download the Action News Jax First Alert Weather app by going to our website right there, actionnewsjax.com.
Cutting into profits, the cultural changes that are hitting America's shaving and razor industry.
And talk about hot property, how a Florida real estate agent is creating interest in this condemned home. A real estate agent in St. Petersburg is getting lots of attention for his fire hot sale. Literally. The pictures on Zillow show the house on fire. The agent says that it's both to get attention and to make sure potential customers know that the house needs to be torn down because of all of that fire damage. Yeah. But they say, why not? Put it on the market anyway.
Hence the price, right? Millennials are killing the razor industry. Trend tracking company Euromonitor says that the shaving product market in the U.S. is down some 11% over the past 5 years. It's partly because millennials are embracing beards, mustaches, and the rugged look. There's also more competition from shaving subscription companies.
Florida has a new official to coordinate a statewide response to climate change. Florida's new Chief Resilience Officer, Juliet Nishwat. She's from Lakeland, Florida, and she served as a U.S. Army intelligence officer and as Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for Hostage Affairs. We'll be right back. Final look at that forecast.
Yeah.
It's coming down right now on the south side.
It's coming down right here. Almost an inch and a half of rain that we have here on the south side. You're going to need those umbrellas if it's not raining on you right now.
All right, more of the same for the rest of the day, at least on and off.
Yeah.
Stay dry, everyone. Have a great weekend, too.
Take the umbrella with you. Y&R's next.